Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
I'm meteorologist Joe Hansel here. This week, as we get a dry stretch of weather, that'll open the door for some warmer to hotter temps, some higher humidity, and some morning dense fog. Friday night and the weekend, this 5-day precipitation forecast graphic again, very end of the weekend. I'll watch for our next chance of some increasing rain and thunderstorms again, but no threat of thunderstorms today. We'll be generally dry. Be mindful of any impacts with dense fog before you head out the door this morning. Temps were right around seasonable yesterday in Charleston. High of 85, low at 66. Morning fog, and then it dissipates around midday or sooner, and then plenty of sunglasses sunshine with some heat on the way this week. Chicago near 91 today, Tampa 96, Charlotte 83, Washington, D.C. near 92, back to potentially 100 on Wednesday with some record highs possible. From Panhandle to Panhandle, upper 80s to low 90s, Wheeling near 92 today. 71 tonight would be one shy of a daily warm record low, so we'll have some well above average temps, not just for highs, for the lows too. For the Eastern Panhandle, we have some low 90s out here, up to 93. Some temps in the ranks of the 80s in the higher elevations, 60s to near 70 overnight. For our central areas, we have some 80s and low 90s. Again, we'll have a little bit of heat of the day to plan for today. Lows in the ranks of the 60s to the south, mid-80s to low 90s. Charleston near 90 for your high today. Huntington near 91, near 68 for our low tonight. Highs mid-90s, near 94 to 96 or so, Wednesday and Thursday, 94 Friday. We have high pressure overhead, so some widespread dry conditions. So a break of all these rainers, but the price will be a lot of some warm to hot sunshine that'll be out there. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all chances of rain and potential of some passing thunderstorms.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Coming up this morning, the Department of Justice has its lawsuit tossed. We'll talk to U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito, and we'll visit with West Virginia Secretary of State Chris Warner. It's MetroNews Talkline, and we are underway.
Not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set line up link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome into the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave Wilson of Morgantown. TJ is in Charleston. Gang's all here. Say good morning to our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia, or if you're watching in on the MetroNews TV app. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. That is the text line. You can, or no, that's the phone number. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. You can text the show at 304-TALK-304. Chris Warner, Secretary of State, will join us in the second hour. He's actually out in South Dakota at the Association of Secretaries of State. We'll talk to him about the DOJ dropping that lawsuit. More on that in a moment with MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhenney. Also, if you are in the Kanawha Valley down in the Charleston region, you probably noticed the Teamsters on strike there. And we're going to get some information about that coming up second hour of the show. U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito will join us as well. TJ, say good morning. Well, you don't have to say good morning, but good morning.
How about what up? How's that work for you?
What? How do you spell that, TJ?
What up? I don't know, man. I don't know.
We'll get to all that. Inflation down, by the way. However, he said, oil prices are back up today because, well, we're bombing the you-know-what out of Iran once again with a blockade. So I hope you filled up the tank yesterday if you were out and about.
It's hard to tell because what comes out of the White House one second often differs from the next. But there was more of a deliberative narrative yesterday, it seemed, that, all right, we're done. We're going to take it. We're going to have the straight. I mean, that's what the president was saying. I noticed he also wanted to charge like $20 million tolling a trip compared to the $2 million that Iran has been charging. I'm not sure how the international community will like that, but his message, we're going to take it, and if we're going to police it, we're going to get paid for it. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll get into that and a couple of other topics when we talk to U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito coming up bottom of this hour. Also, we teased this a little bit. You wrote about social media in your commentary yesterday. Friend, that's a strong word to use when it comes to talking about Dave Allen, but colleague, co-worker, Dave Allen, posted on social media that he was no longer going to be on social media. So we'll get into those ramifications. Social media. Sometime what? What'd I say? Did I tell him 11 o'clock hour?
He told me 11:20.
That sounds about right.
Sounds about right?
I suppose so. I guess.
You seem like a person to me, I don't want to speak for you. I don't think you would necessarily miss it if you got off of it.
I'm barely on it as it is.
Yeah.
Really.
It's probably the best thing, honestly.
Yeah. There are a few. I got my writers, sports writers, media personalities that I like to follow. But yeah. I got Facebook's very heavily tailored to just get the family vacation photos and sports stories, and for whatever reason, I like umpire videos. Facebook keeps sending me umpire videos.
Oh, John Boy, yeah.
Well, that and little league parents losing their mind and getting thrown out of ball games. It's a guilty pleasure, TJ. It's a guilty pleasure. Zach, do we have Brad on Zoom yet? All right, we're trying to get connected with MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhenney, hence the stalling for time, because
I see him. He's
yesterday. There he is. Yesterday, let me do the full setup here. A federal judge dismissed the U.S. government lawsuit over demands for unredacted West Virginia voter registration data. MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhenney wrote the story that's posted at wvmetronews.com. Brad, good morning. Thanks for joining us. And this seems like it was the inevitable outcome when this all started, several months ago at this point.
Yeah, this puts a cap in it, I think. We have covered this issue for months, and Secretary Warner has been generous with his time. Will be again today at 11:45, I believe, on MetroNews Talkline. But the Secretary of State's office has responded to U.S. Department of Justice demands for unredacted voter data to say, we don't understand your compelling reason, and it's a state responsibility. We take the state responsibility seriously, and the privacy of West Virginia citizens is on the line. The Secretary of State's office, represented by the West Virginia Attorney General, has made that case in writing to the Justice Department and then did so in this lawsuit filed by the Department of Justice. And yesterday, U.S. District Judge Thomas Johnston, who is a George W. Bush appointee, agreed with the state, entered an order to dismiss the case. And in legal terms, he said that the Department of Justice's argument was weak sauce.
He goes on, I want to read this quote, Brett. Given the lack of an adequate basis or purpose, one is left to wonder what the real purpose was for the Justice Department to go to the trouble of filing civil actions like this one all around the nation. That may not sound very damning, but from a federal judge, I mean, that's just not a little slap on the wrist. At least that's the way I read it.
No, I agree. That was a footnote, but it indicates that it was a thought that U.S. District Judge Johnston wanted to get out there. You have such little legal basis. Why are you wasting everyone's time? There are a couple of points about that. West Virginia was the most recent of now a dozen states that have thrown the government's case out of the courtroom. the federal government has not won in any jurisdiction around the country. And the states where these cases have been knocked out include California, Oregon, Michigan, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Arizona, Maine, Wisconsin, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and now West Virginia. West Virginia joining them. Some of the parties to the case, including the Secretary of State's office, believe that this was a fishing expedition, just a precursor to trying to get information or allegations about non-citizens on West Virginia's voting rolls. The federal government had said, we just have an interest in making sure your voting rolls are clean. But there was some suspicion from the Secretary of State's office to say that this is pretextual. Other entities like West Virginia Citizen Action Group had attempted to enter the case, and they were participating. The judge actually didn't even take that into account. He just slam dunked this thing and said, this is weak. We're kicking it out. But there were other entities that wanted to have their say, and they also said that they thought that the U.S. Department of Justice was not being straightforward about what it wanted the information for, that it really had to do with non-citizens voting.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhenney joining us. Brad, even if we can play the even if game, even if West Virginia did not have a law that prohibited the Secretary of State from disseminating that information, West Virginia over the last decade, maybe go back 15 years, under the prior Secretary of State, Mac Warner, who at one point was working or is working for the administration there in the Department of Justice, has done an outstanding job cleaning up voter rolls across the state. County clerks have purged voter rolls from inactive voters, from people. We don't have dead people voting in West Virginia anymore, Brad. West Virginia's actually done a really good job, all things considered, over the last 10 years. I don't know what they expected to find, even if they got all that information.
Mm-hmm. It's so Chris Warner is now the Secretary of State and has been for a couple of years. And, within the state, you really hear no complaints about their handling of the voting rolls. No reason to think that there's anything wild going on. Prior to that, Chris's brother Mac, for 8 years, had been the ultimate authority on the state's voting rolls. Mac Warner did go to the Department of Justice and was working in the Civil Rights Division as a top lawyer. Not totally clear on his current status, actually, but it's really just wild to have the U.S. Department of Justice enveloping West Virginia in these complaints about, we don't think that your voter rolls are totally clean. A related incident, of course, happened within the last week or so, not in the court system, but outside that, with what I took to be, and many people took to be, threatening letters from the U.S. Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, telling Chris Warner and other secretaries of state around the country that they could be held criminally liable if there are non-citizens on the voting rolls. Again, that was not a part of this legal action with federal court, but it was, I think, a related letter coming from DOJ to say you could face criminal charges if you've got non-citizens on the voting rolls. And the response from the state that was issued last week, the general counsel from the Secretary of State's office, is we don't. We have all kinds of measures to make sure that's not happening. And there are no allegations that we're doing anything otherwise. And if you know something we don't know, the state said to the DOJ, maybe be specific. And the same thing happened here in this case. And it was a reason for Judge Johnson's ruling. He said, whatever your suspicions are, you don't lay them out. You don't give any actual compelling reason for needing this information. The judge in this case said, regardless, because the demand letter did not include an adequate statement of its basis or purpose as statutorily required, plaintiff has failed to state a claim, meaning we don't even know why you want this stuff.
I want to spitball this for a second, fellas. If you're living out in Schenectady, this doesn't sound all that bad. All right, they wanted the unredacted voter rolls. Who cares? Is this not just another effort by the federal government to have what it doesn't have, what only the states have, which is policing powers. You know, the government can't do something unless they have an enumerated power under the Constitution that allows them to do it. And it seems, especially out of this administration, more so the second term for the president, we're going to go after this, we're going to go after this, we're going to go after this, and we're going to make somebody tell us no. We know we don't have policing powers, but we're going to make someone tell us no. To me, that's incredibly alarming, more so than this specific case. Brad, is that valid or am I paranoid?
Well, let me suggest a couple of things. America is coming up on a general election that could tilt the power in Congress, certainly the House of Representatives, and maybe the U.S. Senate. President Trump has a speech set for Thursday, and the topic is, I don't think it's Iran, it's not gas prices, it's not housing affordability, it's the 2020 election results. And the idea, the pre-reporting of this speech is that the president is going to claim that recently declassified information reveals the 2020 election was interfered with. Furthermore, there's reporting that he is going to make claims that the senators out of Georgia, John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, were improperly, invalidly elected. These are guys who've been in office now. Ossoff is up on election again. So, I mean, I think all of this, you can look at it in terms of the specific incidents, but I think there's a lot flowing together with the president laying claims of election interference out ahead of the 2026 general election.
I think you're both right. Let's go there. Switzerland here. Because, TJ, this has been the pattern of the administration. This Trump 2.0 has been to push and look, the executive branch has been expanding its power for my entire lifetime, but it has been very blatant about extending that power, like you said, going until someone says, no, you cannot do that. Push, push, push until somebody, whether it's a federal judge in district court or it's the U.S. Supreme Court, saying, no, you can't do that. So I think there's certainly validity to the pattern you've recognized. And Brad, Trump has never gotten over 2020. He's still talking about it, even though he won a second term, and he's probably responsible for those two senators in Georgia actually being in office because he screwed that up down in Georgia. So I'm going to say you're both right as we draw this segment to a close. And you both win. It's very unsatisfying. I'm sorry.
What do we get, some Lee press-on nails or something? Isn't that what they used to give away?
Read Brad's story over at the website, wvmetronews.com. Secretary of State Chris Warner will join us about 11:45 this morning. Brad, thank you so much. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
We'll check in with Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage up next. Get the latest on the continued strikes in Iran. We're back in a moment.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thorold.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Senator Shelley Moore Capito, bottom of the hour. Let's go to Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. As U.S. strikes continued in Iran for a third consecutive night, President Trump says the blockade is going back into place. Jonathan, good morning. What's the latest?
Hi there. Yeah, things seem to be moving back in the direction of escalation. Managed escalation is how some analysts are calling things. The way the situation is very similar to how it was before they signed the Memorandum of Understanding almost 30 days ago. We have strikes, retaliation, we have pressure on both sides, although there are still efforts underway to try to save the peace talks. Pakistani mediators are said to be working round the clock to do so. But while that's happening in the background, in the foreground, very much the United States carrying out major strikes along Iran's southern coast, Iran striking back and targeting shipping in the Strait of Hormuz.
Who controls the strait, Jonathan? It seems like we're back to that effort. Is it open? Is it closed? Who has it today?
Yeah, it feels like we're back to square one in a sense, because the negotiators should be focusing on Iran's nuclear ambitions and their nuclear stockpile, but control of the Strait of Hormuz is the main battlefield right now. Now, Iran insists that it controls the strait. They say that they will control it forever. President Trump, however, says the Strait of Hormuz is open and will remain open. He says, in the end, we will just end up controlling the whole thing. A bit of a surprise from President Trump, because he said that he wants to charge ships to use the strait. He says every cargo shipment would pay 20% of its cargo's value to the United States to pay for American security operation. You may remember Iran has been threatening to charge $1 million, $2 million in tolls for ships using the Strait of Hormuz. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said no one should charge tolls in what's regarded as international waters. So President Trump suggesting this has certainly, I think, alarmed the shipping community and possibly Middle Eastern allies too.
How seriously is this being taken? President Trump has a tendency to say things and then kind of wait for the reaction. How seriously is this being taken?
Yeah, he may well back down. He has backed down from certain things before, including bombing Iran back to the Stone Age, which he'd threatened a couple of times in the past. It's been taken seriously enough that people are asking the obvious questions, such as, is there a legal basis for this? The International Maritime Organization says there is not. People are asking who would collect the money, how would it be enforced, and what would happen if a shipping firm refused to pay? Because they're talking about an awful lot of money here. Shipping experts estimate that a fully loaded gas or oil tanker could, in theory, face charges approaching $16 or $17 million per voyage.
And, of course, we pay for that at the pump. It's going to trickle down.
That's something that people are going to be worried about. Yeah, it's just going to cause the price to go up. Iran also looking at this because they're already using the president's comments to, as they see it, legitimize the very concept of charging fees in the Strait.
Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. Jonathan, 20 seconds. France or Spain?
I'm going to be supporting Spain tonight because I'm watching it with a Spanish friend. I'd like to see Lamine Yamal take the game by the scruff of the neck, but I think Kylian Mbappe is going to be the one who does that. I think France is going to come out on top this evening.
All right, Jonathan Savage, Fox News Radio. Appreciate it, Jonathan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
World Cup semifinals later today for those who ask why I just randomly brought up France or Spain. They're going.
Kudos to you for even knowing who's playing.
Well, I don't even know why. You know why I know that? It's the All-Star break, and there's nothing else going on. That's why.
Okay.
That's at like 3 o'clock this afternoon, too, our time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, got to get that European, obviously, got to get that European audience. Prime time over there. Coming up, we're going to talk to U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito. She'll join us on the other side of the news. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It is 10:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
I'm meteorologist Joe Hansel here. This week, as we get a dry stretch of weather, that'll open the door for some warmer to hotter temps, some higher humidity, and some morning dense fog. Friday night and the weekend, this 5-day precipitation forecast graphic, again, very end of the weekend. I'll watch for our next chance of some increasing rain and thunderstorms again, but no threat of thunderstorms today. We'll be generally dry. Be mindful of any impacts with dense fog before you head out the door this morning. Temps were right around seasonable yesterday in Charleston. High of 85, low at 66. Morning fog, and then it dissipates around midday or sooner, and then plenty of sunglasses sunshine with some heat on the way this week. Chicago near 91 today, Tampa 96, Charlotte 83, Washington, D.C. near 92, back to potentially 100 on Wednesday with some record highs possible. From Panhandle to Panhandle, upper 80s to low 90s, Wheeling near 92 today. 71 tonight would be one shy of a daily warm record low, so we'll have some well above average temps, not just for highs, for the lows too. For the Eastern Panhandle, we have some low 90s out here, up to 93. Some temps in the ranks of the 80s in the higher elevations, 60s to near 70 overnight. For our central areas, we have some 80s and low 90s. Again, we'll have a little bit of heat of the day to plan for today. Lows in the ranks of the 60s to the south, mid-80s to low 90s. Charleston near 90 for your high today. Huntington near 91, near 68 for our low tonight. Highs mid-90s, near 94 to 96 or so, Wednesday and Thursday, 94 Friday. We have high pressure overhead, so some widespread dry conditions. So a break of all these rainers, but the price will be a lot of some warm to hot sunshine that'll be out there. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all chances of rain and potential of some passing thunderstorms.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
Have you forgotten the words you said to me? This guy, this glasses wearing, he's like, man, Dave Allen's been at it all day. No producer. And he says this to me while I'm actively producing Metro News Midday. So just to illustrate what it's like to not have a producer, Coop, why don't you take 5 for a second?
Hotline on Metro News Television.
I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Text line is 304-TALK-304. Phone number is 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. West Virginia Secretary of State Chris Warner coming up in the second hour. Also, Dave Allen will join us. You hear him after we wrap up on most of these same Metro News radio stations on Metro News Midday. He said he's quitting social media. Why? We'll dive into that coming up in the second hour of the program as well. Your text at 304-TALK-304 and phone calls welcome at 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Please say good morning to the senator from the great state of West Virginia, Senator Shelley Moore Capito, joining us on Metro News Talkline this morning. Senator Capito, good morning.
Good morning to everybody. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on today. Tragic news, of course, over the weekend with the sudden passing of South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. What did you learn from Senator Graham when you first arrived in Washington in the House and then when you moved over to the Senate side?
Well, it's interesting because when I first came to the House, Senator Graham's office in the Longworth building was right next door to mine. So I got to see him, walking back and forth, and we got to know each other pretty well. And then he moved on to the Senate. So he was more interested, at that point, he was very interested, obviously, in South Carolina issues. And we talked a lot about, conservative values, those kinds of things. As he moved into the Senate, he really became more involved with international and military affairs, protecting America, really strong defense. And you see that's really where in the end, that's where he had his greatest strengths. But I will say he and I did serve on an Environment and Public Works Committee together. I chair that committee now. He was one of my committee members. And those kinds of meetings that we had were always focused on South Carolina, for instance, the port and trade issues, road issues, all the things that you would get involved with an infrastructure kind of focus to it. But he was I actually played pickleball with him a couple times, and I kind of prejudged. I'm going to admit here. I thought, well, he doesn't look too athletic. I'm not sure he's going to be any good at pickleball. You know what? He was pretty good because he must have played tennis as a young man, and he said that he did. But he was still fun to play in that environment. You can imagine with wild shots and so I knew him on a lot of different. And I was in this dinner club where every now and then, maybe twice a month, we would go out just to senators and have a relaxing dinner together. And he and I were both in that little group of 4 or 5 senators. So I knew him very well, and it's such a shock and jarring. To think he's gone.
Many people have talked about his sense of humor, his wit. I'm watching News Nation right now, and Elena Kagan is on the Hill testifying, and it comes to mind that time in committee. He asked her where she was on Christmas, and she took the bait and talked about, like every good Jew, she was in a Chinese restaurant on Christmas Day. He just had a way about him with people, I think, and a singular wit. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think, if you go back to the beginnings for him, and he was very honest talking about it, and it's well documented. His parents died when he was young. He had a younger sister who was 13 when he was 19, and he became her guardian, and he raised her. He was very devoted to her and her family. And we all know her because, she's going to be the senator now, but we all knew her because he would bring her to functions, and we got to meet their family, and it was obviously we're very close. So I think, and he was raised in the back of a bar. So you got to have some good social skills to do that, and you got to have a sense of humor. And I think he brought that with him. He would disarm people with wisecracks and funny sayings, and never took himself too seriously. He was willing to go out on a limb, but he could always get himself back in. He just didn't alienate people with, even though he took really strong positions that people would disagree with. He still found a way to still have that friendship and become a friend. And I think that's a skill that's kind of getting lost because we have all this social media. Everybody communicates that way. That was another thing. He was terrible at technology, terrible. He could never figure out how to. Remember, he had the flip phone until the president gave out his number, and then he smashed the flip phone with his feet. That was a whole social media thing. And then finally we talked him into an iPhone, but he didn't remember that you had to charge it. So everybody was always having to charge his phone for him, but he traveled the world frequently. I mean, he was just an unusual kind of guy and a real treasure for the country, I think.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito joining us, Metro News Talkline. Unfortunately, the business of Washington does not slow down, Senator. So what will be the ramifications of Senator Graham now no longer being in the Senate?
Right. Well, he was chairman of the Budget Committee, and that's the one that does the reconciliation packages. And so, there's a movement afoot to do a third package there, and I think he was involved in that. So there'll be a new chairman of that. It will be Ron Johnson. That's already been established. Obviously, his sister is going to be sworn in at 2:15 to take his place. He was up for re-election, so there's an election already planned for November. So there will be an elected successor, and that will not be her. And so that. But in the meantime, the House is different from the Senate. When you're a senator, your governor can appoint in a replacement for you, which does help. And so also, but he's on appropriations, so that's turned into a real partisan exercise now. So we're down both he and Senator McConnell is still in the hospital. That's a challenge. And so, it remains to be seen if we can get anything done, although I will say tomorrow he will not be there in our committee, obviously, but we are going to be able to pass some bipartisan bills, safe drinking water, clean water, and also the Corps of Engineers bill. So I'm proud of our efforts there, and he was always a big part of that. So it does present challenges. We're also doing nominations with Todd Blanche to be AG. That's going to be a partisan vote. I don't know if we hold all the Republicans. Every time we lose one, we've already lost two. If we get into a position where we lose three, we have to have the vice president come and break a tie. If we lose four, we lose the whole vote. So, it is a challenge. But we're going to pull together here and hopefully make the best of it.
You want to make a prediction on Blanche?
Oh, he'll get confirmed. I plan to vote for him. He's going one-on-one all around to some of the more skeptical folks, particularly those on the Judiciary Committee, which I'm not a member. And I think people are thinking mostly very positively towards him. He's a pretty straight shooter, and will answer any question. And so he's coming up, I think, tomorrow to testify on Capitol Hill. But I do think he will get confirmed, and I think Jay Clayton will get confirmed as the National Security Advisor, and then I think Sonderling will get confirmed as the Labor Secretary. I think they'll all make it through.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito joining us here on Metro News Talkline. You said it's challenging. What do you think the prospects are of a third reconciliation bill or supplemental defense funding before the August recess?
Well, the supplemental defense funding that we do every year, it's called the NDAA. We've done it every year for 65 years, and it's usually bipartisan. It came out of committee bipartisan, but my understanding, and the Democrats have decided they're going to obstruct here and not pass it, give us the 60-vote threshold that we need. That's yet to be determined. But, these are the things that set our national defense strategy, our military pay, how we handle our weapons, our ships, our, on and on. And it sets the policies. And we're able to usually do that pretty, I don't want to say easily, but it's already been gone through committee, so that's good. So I think that's going to be hard. On the reconciliation package, that is going to be hard as well because that will be a partisan vote. And there's some people that don't want to do another one, and that the complications of that are challenging as well. But, that's what we're here for, and we're just going to keep working to hopefully get some success.
Senator, when I preach on the budget, I'm constantly bashed over the head about you never want to cut the military, TJ. You never talk about cutting the military. Well, I mean, it's $924 billion is what's in the NDAA this go around. I don't think that's a natural place to cut, frankly, with the challenges that we have in this world. You can opine on that. But here's the question. We're going to run another couple $1 trillion deficit. I don't see that changing. So by passing this bill, does that put more of an onus on looking at Social Security, looking at Medicare, Medicaid? We can only do so much, and we can only run so much of a debt before we find ourselves really in a pickle, and I think we're edging closer.
I agree. We are edging closer. You're absolutely right on that. And I think that I agree that our military needs to have all options and strong options, and that's in the best interest of everything, because everything flows from that. Are you going to have commerce? Are you going to have manufacturing? If you don't have a safe country, or a strong country, you're going to see your economics suffer, and then everything else follows that. In terms of, the last thing I remember that we actually attempted on Social Security, remember, was when George Bush in 2004 said maybe we should take some money and create sort of a privatization of part of Social Security so it could grow. And that got a resounding thumbs down. And I got slammed in West Virginia when I started to try to talk about what it could be and what the benefits of it could be. And so it was a non-starter. We have not stepped up to the plate here, and the only way to really rein this spending is to get into the really hot iron issues, which is Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And those are very difficult political decisions. But we're going to have to do it, Republicans and Democrats, to make the hard choices. And the last time hard choices were made, and you know this, we're in the mid-'80s. And that's been, 40 years ago. And now we're running up against some deadlines here, both on the solvency of Medicare, and of Social Security in 2032, I think. So we're going to have to do something.
Talking to U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito, joining us here on MetroNews Talkline. Senator, strikes have ramped up again against Iran. 3 straight nights of airstrikes on Iran. The president has also posted that the U.S. is going to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, keep it open, and is expecting reimbursement of up to 20% of the value of cargo flowing through the strait. Is that something the U.S. should be pursuing?
Well, I think what's happened here is the memorandum of understanding that the vice president struck with the Iranians. They promptly, stuck the finger in our eye. And I just think it shows how untrustworthy they are, how they really want to have this nuclear weapon so they can have the power that comes with that. And so I think the president is trying to bring them back to the table and bring them to their knees. And I think the Strait of Hormuz represents their biggest economic challenge because of the export of energy products. And so, I support what he's trying to do and hope. But, I'm going to admit here, I think that American people are growing weary. They don't want a long-term engagement. They want to see the end, and I agree with that. And I think that's what the president thought in the beginning and is still aiming for. And so I think he's trying to hit them at where we have a position of American strength and we can weaken them further but I don't know how we're going to get a trustworthy agreement out of them. I don't even know if it's in them. And I think that is troubling.
The 20% adder, I'll be frank, is troubling to me. That's going to come back and bite us somewhere. Because if we're for free markets and free trade, the price is just going to trickle down at the pump and we're going to pay it one way or the other. I don't see how that makes sense.
Well, you can already see gas going up. I drove up yesterday from Charleston, and I felt like, I went on the new Quarter H. And by the way, if you haven't done it, it's quite a beautiful drive. You could almost see the gas ticking up 10 cents every time you go to another and see another gas station, and because it was coming down. And this hits the Americans. You're right. This is where people really feel it and see it. And it is very difficult politically, but it's also really bad for families, and particularly in rural areas that have to travel quite a lot. And so, we need this to come to an end, to a logical conclusion, like it looked like it was going to with the ceasefire. Keep in mind, Iran's been attacking Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Jordan, Oman, all of these other countries that are in the region. And so they have no friends left, so they just keep lashing out to try to keep their power.
And Senator, it's again no foreign policy. Well, one foreign policy expert on the program at the very moment. I don't know what a reasonable resolution to this will be if they won't hold their word to a deal. It seems like there's only one outcome, and quite frankly, I don't think anybody has the appetite for that outcome, and that's regime change. I think. I don't want to go down that road. I don't think anybody wants to go down that road, do they?
No, I don't think so. But, the question I've always had, and I think you and I have talked about this, is who is in charge there? Yeah. Who are we dealing with? Because there's factions there. There's the IRGC, which is the military. There's the religious faction, and then there's this whole other revolutionary faction that's, I think, the one calling the shots, and that's the one that's probably the least trustworthy of all of them, and I'm not sure any of them are very trustworthy. And so I think, we just got to find the best pressure point, and I think that's why the Strait holds that. In terms of the 20% rate, I agree that it's going to show up in our pricing, as I mentioned, with gas, but in other items. And so maybe that creates a pressure point. I don't know how they're going to actually assess that and determine how much that would be anyway. It sounds almost impossible to me, but we'll see how the president decides that's going to come forward.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore, Capito. Senator, thanks for joining us on the program today, and we'll check in again real soon.
Sounds great. Thank you all very much. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. U.S. Senator Shelley Moore, Capito. Went a little long. Got to take a break. Back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
West Virginia's grid is old, overloaded, and falling behind. That means fewer jobs, less investment, and a future we can't afford to risk. Valley Link and Marl are the fix. Modern transmission lines that strengthen reliability, attract manufacturing, and put West Virginians to work. Investment here, jobs here, a more reliable, stronger grid right here. Learn more at powerwvnow.org. Paid for by West Virginians for reliable and affordable energy.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Couple of texts, 304-TALK-304. Phone numbers, 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. Texter says, you're right, regime change. That's why we need to impeach Trump. I'm not sure if that was deliberate or a typo, but we'll go with it. Shelley Moore, tap dancing like a cat on a hot tin roof, says the texter. She chooses her words wisely. We'll put it that way. She knows that 20% toll or whatever, the 20% toll in the straits. That's never going to fly. She knows that. But she's very good at what she does. Chooses her words wisely.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
No.
To be honest with you, especially, we'll get into this with Alan. Look at social media. I would much rather have someone who chooses their words wisely than what I see going on in our country today. That's my 2 cents on it.
304 Talk 304. Dave and TJ, when I hear the Democrats are going to do another protest on the military budget, it makes me look back at the wasted spending during the Biden administration, which created so much potential fraud we could have been invested in our military, in my humble opinion, says the texter. You know, you guys get Shelley on. You ask her no questions about any of the controversies going on with Todd Blanche, Trump, any of that. It's just really disturbs me, says Jim. 304 Talk 304. Why do get rid filibuster the Democrats are going to? I just read them as they come in. You can ask her about SNAP benefits. Executive break. Look, let me pull the curtain back for just a moment. I don't want to think you were ignoring your suggestions. We do appreciate your suggestions very much. When we set these up, hey, can you come on and this is what we're going to talk about? 2, 3, sometimes 4 topics. We don't do gotcha interviews. We don't ask you to come on and talk about Lindsey Graham and then go, so what about SNAP benefits? There's a time and a place for that. Certainly, thank you very much for the suggestion. Those are topics that come up, but just to pull the curtain back a little bit, hey, this is why we want you to come on at this specific time. We're limited on time. We try to hit the topics of relevance during that time period of that day. So we will get to it, though. We will get to it. Anything to add there, Meadows?
Well, I'm not as talented maybe as you are. I have to listen intently because you typically, we have a progression. You ask the first question. I'll be honest, I don't script my questions. I listen. I know where you're going. I have a sense of what you're going to ask about just from our production meeting. I listen to what they say, and then I take what they say and I frame that up. So I can't do that. I'm not talented enough to do that and look at the texts at the same time. So sorry.
This text says, "Oh, you totally know I'm eastbound and down. Like, come on," says the texter.
Name the movie.
I was going to say we can give away a prize. We don't have any prizes. We don't have a prize closet for anybody who can name the movie.
Can we get a coffee mug with our faces on it? I mean, I would just love that.
I have one from when I did the local show in the style of the old Jim Stallings and Kay Murray mug. Sarah Giosi and I, we had a mug.
Nice.
That was my Christmas present one year. I got her like socks, but she got me a mug. So you can see why we're not doing a show together anymore. 304 Talk 304 is the text line. 800-765-8255. Back to wrap up the hour in a moment.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone.
Of course, the LA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
I think you need some appropriate business cards now. But you have your own personalized logo. I got a marshmallow with 4 toothpicks coming out of it. So congratulations, man. I think you need to announce yourself now.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
Coming up second hour, we'll get more on the beverage distributor strike going on now for a couple of months in Kanawha County. Also, Dave Allen will stop by, will shout at clouds and tell kids to get off the lawn because Dave Allen's getting off social media. TJ kind of wrote about it on Monday. We'll bring it all together in the second hour. Chris Warner, West Virginia Secretary of State, will join us as well. Go grab you an energy drink and a pepperoni roll. It's basically lunchtime. Come on back for the second hour of Metro News Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. This week, as we get a dry stretch of weather, that'll open the door for some warmer to hotter temps, some higher humidity, and some morning dense fog. Friday night and the weekend, this 5-day precipitation forecast graphic again, very end of the weekend. I'll watch for our next chance of some increasing rain and thunderstorms again, but no threat of thunderstorms today. We'll be generally dry. Be mindful of any impacts with dense fog before you head out the door this morning. Temps were right around seasonable yesterday in Charleston. High of 85, low at 66. Morning fog, and then it dissipates around midday or sooner, and then plenty of sunglasses sunshine with some heat on the way this week. Chicago near 91 today, Tampa 96, Charlotte 83, Washington, D.C. near 92, back to potentially 100 on Wednesday with some record highs possible. From Panhandle to Panhandle, upper 80s to low 90s, Wheeling near 92 today. 71 tonight would be one shy of a daily warm record low, so we'll have some well above average temps, not just for highs, for the lows too. For the Eastern Panhandle, we have some low 90s out here, up to 93. Some temps in the ranks of the 80s in the higher elevations, 60s to near 70 overnight. For our central areas, we have some 80s and low 90s. Again, we'll have a little bit of heat of the day to plan for today. Lows in the ranks of the 60s to the south, mid-80s to low 90s. Charleston near 90 for your high today. Huntington near 91, near 68 for our low tonight. Highs mid-90s, near 94 to 96 or so, Wednesday and Thursday, 94 Friday. We have high pressure overhead, so some widespread dry conditions. So a break of all these rainers, but the price will be a lot of some warm to hot sunshine that'll be out there. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all chances of rain and potential of some passing thunderstorms.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of MetroNews Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios. Appreciate you being part of our day. Say good morning once again to our great radio affiliates across and around the state of West Virginia. Also, if you're watching on the MetroNews TV app, we appreciate it as well. We're on Facebook Live, YouTube. Don't forget you can download the TV app to your smart TV or your favorite mobile device, and you can look at us. You can also watch all the other Metro News programming that we offer, including our coverage of high school athletics. High school football season, by the way, kicks off soon. Practice starts and officially starts in a couple of weeks. And then I think we're inside, are we at 6 weeks? Less than 6 weeks to kick off? It's close. Joe Bricato's been traversing the state, by the way, visiting camps and high school football teams all over West Virginia. He's got another one posted up. I think he was at Wheeling. He's down in the Mid-Ohio Valley today, my old neck of the woods. So Joe Bricato getting you ready for high school football season coming up again, like 6 weeks away. Dave Allen will join us for some reason. I invited him, full disclosure. He's getting off social media. We'll get into this idea of the toxic landscape. It's not an idea, it's true. The toxic landscape of social media with Dave coming up about 15 minutes from now. And Secretary of State Chris Warner joins us before the top of the hour this morning. Say good morning once again, TJ Meadows in the Charleston bunker. Morning, TJ.
I remember two-a-days. So you better be in the field house by 6:30, getting dressed, having everything ready to go. Because if you're not on the field, buckled up, ready to hit it at 7 a.m., you're in trouble. You're running right from the start. We'd go till about 11 o'clock, break for lunch for 2 hours, have a great lunch in the cafeteria, get suited back up, come up, do another 2.5 hours, call it a day. Things have changed, my friend.
Oh, there's hardly any more two-a-days. Well, I don't want to say hard. There are still some places where that's a thing, but many places, those are gone.
Yeah.
There's somebody watching a thermometer. Oh, it's getting too hot. Oh, don't get me started. I can do a whole thing. And then, our parents' generation, they told us we were soft. And they might have had a point. And now we get to sit here and go, oh, soft generation. Oh, back in my day, it was so tough. We had to practice in a sand pit with jagged glass and sand hornets. At least that was my dad's story. I don't believe
Jagged glass and sand hornets. I'm going to write that down.
That's what he said. I don't know if I believe him or not. 800-765-TALK and 304-TALK 304 is the text line. About 50 members of the Teamsters Local 175 who work for the beverage market went on strike back in May. The union claiming the company is requesting unfair increases in health care premiums as well as the elimination of a significant portion of employee retirement benefits. That strike continues as we speak. Joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning is President of Teamsters 175, Steve Day. Steve, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. No problem. Thanks for having me.
How's morale on the picket lines today?
Morale is really good. The guys are standing strong as they have been from day one. So I'm very proud of them.
Why was it important to take this step? Strikes are not an easy step, Steve. You don't take those decisions lightly as a union member, but why was it necessary?
It was necessary because the company basically wants us to go backwards on a number of issues: health insurance, wages, retirement, eliminating sub-job classifications that would eliminate some members' pay, just a host of things. And they haven't backed down on them. The union has come in and bargained in good faith, and we've whittled our issues down to about 5 or 6 issues, and the company still has over 100 outstanding issues on the table. So it doesn't seem like they're serious about getting an agreement.
Let's talk about some of the issues and crystallize it, because, Steve, sometimes it's hard to get beyond just the newspaper article. So I want to be able to talk with you and understand what you want. So when it comes to health insurance, I have heard from the union side that the employer wants to raise it 900%. I may have even seen as high as 1,000%. Yet from the company side, the employer side, I see a document that says you're paying $25 per week. So crystallize that for me. What are you paying now? What does that 900% in dollars look like?
So right now they do pay $25 a week. They have been for several years. We were able to bargain that into the contract years ago and with this employer. So it would raise their insurance from $25 a week to about $170 a week.
Talking with Steve Day, president of Teamsters 175. What are the non-negotiables then? Is it pay and the health insurance? Where has the union drawn the line here?
So to be quite honest with you, we haven't been able to draw the line for all the company's proposals. All their proposals want us to go backwards. So we really haven't even been able to talk about what we want. Obviously everybody wants a wage increase. They want their health insurance premiums to stay affordable. They want to be able to retire, those sorts of things. But the company continues to press, with these give backs, in a time that they're making money, they're making plenty of money, and we can't even get past that.
On the health insurance, 25 to, I think you said it wants to go to 175 a week. Is that what you said? Forgive me.
Roughly, yes.
Okay. Is there a middle ground there? Can we meet in the middle? I mean, everybody's health insurance is going up, obviously, but are we dug in on that, or are you all willing to compromise there if they're willing to compromise and find a place in the middle?
The union has tried to compromise. We've offered, I don't want to get into specifics of negotiations, but we have offered to pay more for insurance, and the company continues to press their proposal. So yeah, we've made strides in negotiations of trying to get to a point to, these guys are willing to pay more, but, it falls on deaf ears.
Talking to Steve Day, president of Teamsters Local 175, about 50 members of the union on strike who work for the beverage market based there in Kanawha County. Steve, what changes to the retirement plan do you oppose?
So we had a pension plan in the last contract, and we agreed to the company wanted to do away with that pension plan, and we agreed to do that. And the company agreed to put more money into these folks' 401k, which was cheaper than paying into the pension. Now that portion that we negotiated after we gave up the pension, they're wanting to take that back.
Is this part of ownership change? Is that part of the issue here? You negotiated this?
No.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, there has been some ownership change or no?
There was, but we negotiated a 3-year contract with this same owner. Actually, we've negotiated 2 contracts with her. She came in and took the place over, and we bargained with her and got an agreement for a year. And then we negotiated a 3-year agreement with this same employer again. So no, this isn't part of an ownership change.
Okay.
Talking to Steve Day, he's president of the Teamsters Local 175. Is salary pay an issue in this contract, or what role is it playing in the negotiation?
Yes, it is an issue, and the employer has, on some folks, she's proposed to give a nickel an hour raise, and some folks she has proposed to go backwards. And with the increased costs in healthcare, they're going to guarantee everybody goes backwards. If we were to agree.
I want to talk about the wage scales and get some specifics here. According, again, to a document that was put out by the company, current wages range from anywhere from $51,000 to $120,000. Drivers averaging over $111,000. The percentages that they quote here, forgive me, I think it was upward of 51%. You can correct me if I'm wrong. What exactly do you want, Steve?
So we've not to get into specifics of negotiations again, but those figures that she quoted, we don't agree with those numbers. Second of all, the increases that she quoted were initial proposals. Just like in any negotiations, both sides make initial proposals that are obviously high, and you come back down and meet in the middle, right? So when she talks about an average of 117,000, that's not what our numbers show. But you also have to remember, these few drivers who make that much money, they work on commission. So the reason they make that much money is because they sell that amount of product. So when they sell more product, she makes more money. So they do that by hustling and getting out there and selling her product. That's why
Are
they make
commissions
money.
capped? Do they cap commissions, or is it unlimited?
It's a percentage of the sale. So whatever you sell, however much product you can sell, you get a certain percentage of that.
Okay.
So the more that they sell, the more money she makes.
Talking to Steve Day, president of Teamsters Local 175, about 50 members on strike who work for the beverage market. What will it take to get, or well, let me rephrase, have you been at the bargaining table recently, and what would it take to get back to it?
Yes, we have been at the bargaining table. The company continues to press over 100 proposals. The union is down to half a dozen or so. They continue to press their proposals. We have requested a federal mediator to come in, and the company has agreed to that. And we're going to meet on Thursday, and maybe we can kickstart something and try to get to an agreement on this.
How long do you think that your men and women can hold out here? I mean, it's tough to go without a paycheck for some time.
I have confidence in these folks. They have really stood together, and I think they will do whatever it takes to get a good contract. And I would say too, those numbers that she put out, maybe to try to make the folks look bad or whatever, it's not a bad thing to have good jobs in West Virginia, and it's not a bad thing to fight for. These jobs are worth fighting for, and that's what these guys are going to do.
Steve Day, president of Teamsters Local 175, as the about 50 members again work for the beverage market on strike, have been on strike since about mid-May. Steve, we appreciate the update, and to keep us posted, thank you so much.
Sure will. Thank you.
Coming up, Dave Allen from MetroNews Midday going to join us. He posted on social media that he wasn't going to post on social media anymore. I know, it made me tickle. But we'll get into that and the toxic environment that led to that decision. We'll talk about it next. This is Talkline from the Cove Insurance Studios.
Building a stronger West Virginia isn't just a dream, it's a mission. The High Technology Foundation knows economic diversity is the key. For over 30 years, they've been dedicated to transforming the state's economic landscape. Conveniently located in the heart of West Virginia, innovation, growth, opportunity, all under one roof. There's no need to look far for change. It's happening right here at the High Technology Foundation in North Central West Virginia. Visit WVHTF.org to learn more.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
Hey, this is Brad Howe for your local internet provider, CityNet. Fiber is now at your front door and even in rural areas and communities across West Virginia. Thanks to broadband expansion funding, your tax dollars helped make it possible. And CityNet turned that investment into real connections for local families and businesses. Now, you can get blazing fast fiber internet with free installation, free equipment, no long-term contract, and local customer support that's always close to home. Don't settle for slow or no internet for another day. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
At WVU Medicine's Heart and Vascular Institute, excellence isn't just a promise, it's proven. Our advanced heart surgery program ranks among the top 3% in the nation by the Society of Thoracic Surgeons and was named a high-performing hospital by U.S. News and World Report with multiple areas of distinction. In medicine, we lead with world-class outcomes and groundbreaking procedures. Visit wvumedicine.org/heart.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discovered tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
.304 Talk 304. Dave, that was from Smokey and the Bandits. What did I win? My respect and admiration. What?
That won't
What?
get you much.
Yeah, not much. No more two-a-days? Soft, says the texter. And coming from that texter, who I know, that's saying something. 304 Talk 304 is the text line. So I was doom scrolling, I think Sunday? I think that's what the kids call it, doom scrolling. And I happened upon a video post. He calls him a Dave tutorial or something like that because he thinks he's clever. But Metro News' Dave Allen said on social media that he was quitting social media. So I said, well, let's bring him on and talk about it. So we brought him on. Joining us from the Cove Insurance Studios in Charleston. He's the host of Metro News Midday. He also hosts 580 Live. Prior to this program on our flagship in Charleston, 580 WCHS, it's Dave Allen. Hey, Southern Dave.
Hey, Northern Dave. It's Dave-atorial. That's what it's called, a Dave-atorial.
Oh.
With a UH in the middle. That's what they're called. Yeah.
Very
It was
clever.
Sunday.
Very clever.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I've been kicked out of some of the best colleges in America, buddy. I'm not stupid.
All right, so why are you quitting social media? What's up?
Well, let me just say this. First of all, when I said I was going to go off social media, and I meant I am going to keep the radio page, because I have a page, Dave Allen Radio, and basically I use it to share our stories here, to do the promos, for the local shows and the network shows as well, and keep people informed. I'm still going to do that. This all came from, we all woke up to the news Sunday morning that Lindsey Graham had passed, and let me just say for the record, I was not the biggest Lindsey Graham supporter in the world. I respect him, all right, but I was not the biggest fan of his, and that's okay. And throughout the day on Sunday, kind of a lazy Sunday, I just keep going and I keep reading the comments, not on my post or whatever, but I mean just the comments, just vile comments about Lindsey Graham. And look, this doesn't have to be about Lindsey Graham. You could say the same thing happened with Charlie Kirk. And again, for the record, I was not a Charlie Kirk fan. Okay, but the same things about them, rot in hell. And the more I thought about this, I was like, why am I even doing this? I'm doing it because that's what Mr. Zuckerberg wants, to keep you engaged. And I thought, I really don't need to do that. So I just decided on Sunday, I said, you know what, I'm going to give this little thing an experiment here, and I'm going to go off social media, at least the way that I was doing it, which was going and reading the comments and so on. And some of the stuff is just absolutely vile, and I get called to the carpet every time that I say this, and I say it's on both sides, and somebody from the right will say, well, no, actually it's not, we don't do that. Yes, you do. And then I'll get comments from people from the left, no, we don't do that, that's Trump. And no, yes, you do too. And I was like, do I really need this stress in my life? I mean, do I really, do I really need this? So that's why I made the decision, and look, it's just for me. It's not for anybody else. I'm still doing my radio page. I'm posting what we got to post, and then I'm getting out. Respect your decision. You've prompted a lot of thought with me. I may close it all down tomorrow. I was off of it completely, minus LinkedIn, before I came back here. A couple of thoughts. Not judgmental of your decision. Again, is it important for those who have a greater sense of civility to stay on social media to help balance out perspective? And two, is it all social media? I don't see this stuff on LinkedIn. Yeah. To be honest with you, I am on LinkedIn, but I'm probably, because I'm not professional in anything in my life, I don't really spend as much time on LinkedIn as I should. People are posting business stuff. I mean, I don't see this on LinkedIn. And that's what, well, and people love to get on these sites and argue with people. Newsflash, 80% of the people you're arguing with aren't even real people. Okay, you're arguing with bots. That's the whole idea behind social media. I still see plenty of real people that I know to be real, though, that are spewing hate and evil. There are. Yeah, you're right. Then my percentage may be a little bit high. I mean, so I understand your argument, TJ, but if you say is it important for civil people on either side to stay on to balance it out, how do you win that battle? I mean, how do you talk more? I don't know. Well, or talk less, or just put up pictures of cat videos and so on and so forth. Which I was telling Meadows this Wilson in a rare moment of seriousness on my part, because I'm very rarely ever serious. I have heard from a lot of people since I made this decision on Sunday. People that have sent me, because I still have the account. I just haven't done anything. People sending me private message. Had a gentleman call on Open Line, West Virginia yesterday and said, you were really important when you went through your cancer battle. I was very public about it, and that and I'm not trying to, blow up my ego here, but people said a lot of people went and got themselves checked based on what and followed your journey through this. And so, that's the good part of it, but there's a whole lot of bad too.
Well, welcome to the club. That's all I can say. Look, welcome to the club. Post pictures and videos of your cat. Do your shameless self-promotion for your shows, and the rest of it, whatever. So I just need to stop this. I don't need to stop the social media. I need to stop the scrolling. And I don't even comment on these things. It just makes me, it's designed. It used to be, and this has been scientifically proven, guys. It used to be that you got things in your feed that were designed to affirm your positions on things.
Mr. Zuckerberg's got a different model now to a certain extent, and it's to give you things that are going to anger you to keep you more engaged. And so I just thought, you know what? I don't really need this in my life right now. I'm busy enough between, 3 or 4 radio shows and my growing modeling career. Do I really need It's true. this? I'm looking at him. It's true. Yeah, I'm a pretty man.
Do you believe social media is addictive?
Yes, 100%.
You do believe it's addictive?
100%. But there is something to be said for, just like I feel about any other addiction, you do have the power to at least try to walk away. And I don't buy into this, the psychology of you can limit it. I will say this: I don't have kids, but if I did, my kids would be nowhere near social media.
I won't let my kids near it
until
at all.
they left my house. Now,
I'm leaning toward that.
No, they wouldn't be on it.
So
but then there's also, guys, the argument of, do you just like Australia and these other places done? Do you just ban it, or do you let them do it to teach them responsibly?
I let the parents make the decision.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just trick the algorithm until you get nothing but videos of Corvettes and deer.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have a very happy social media experience.
I get a whole lot of old school wrestling. I get a whole lot of that. At least before the changes came, I got a whole lot of old school wrestling, a lot of chicken wings and sports bars. I got a whole lot of that. We just need more old school wrestling and chicken wings and sports bars.
I've always joked. We got about 20 seconds here. My social media is so confused. If the phones are listening, which it's sitting right here, and listening to the conversations we have on a daily basis, it has no idea what it needs to feed through the algorithm. We've got them so confused. So you've got that going for you, Dave.
Yep, I'm the master of confusion.
All right. Keep me posted on the modeling career, by the way.
I got it.
Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
I'm meteorologist Joe Hansel here. This week, as we get a dry stretch of weather, that'll open the door for some warmer to hotter temps, some higher humidity, and some morning dense fog. Friday night and the weekend, this 5-day precipitation forecast graphic, again, very end of the weekend. I'll watch for our next chance of some increasing rain and thunderstorms again, but no threat of thunderstorms today. We'll be generally dry. Be mindful of any impacts with dense fog before you head out the door this morning. Temps were right around seasonable yesterday in Charleston. High of 85, low at 66. Morning fog, and then it dissipates around midday or sooner, and then plenty of sunglasses sunshine with some heat on the way this week. Chicago near 91 today, Tampa 96, Charlotte 83, Washington, D.C. near 92, back to potentially 100 on Wednesday with some record highs possible. From Panhandle to Panhandle, upper 80s to low 90s, Wheeling near 92 today, 71 tonight would be one shy of a daily warm record low, so we'll have some well above average temps, not just for highs, for the lows too. For the Eastern Panhandle, we have some low 90s out here, up to 93. Some temps in the ranks of the 80s in the higher elevations, 60s to near 70 overnight. For our central areas, we have some 80s and low 90s. Again, we'll have a little bit of heat of the day to plan for today. Lows in the ranks of the 60s to the south, mid-80s to low 90s. Charleston near 90 for your high today. Huntington near 91, near 68 for our low tonight. Highs mid-90s, near 94 to 96 or so, Wednesday and Thursday, 94 Friday. We have high pressure overhead, so some widespread dry conditions. So a break of all these rainers, but the price will be a lot of some warm to hot sunshine that'll be out there. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all chances of rain and potential of some passing thunderstorms.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
Have you forgotten the words you said to me? This guy, this glasses wearing, he's like, man, Dave Allen's been at it all day. no producer. And he says this to me while I'm actively producing Metro News Midday. So just to illustrate what it's like to not have a producer, Coop, why don't you take 5 for a second?
Hotline on Metro News Television.
West Virginia Secretary of State Chris Warner will join us about 10 minutes from now. In the meantime, text at 304-TALK, 304. Phone number is 800-765-8255. Hey, look, social media is not all bad. I was doom scrolling during the break because, well, why not? Came across a post from an Instagram account, TJ, that asked the question, what would have happened if the baseball strike had not occurred in 1994? I think we all know the answer to that. Reds would have won the World Series. Do you remember how good that 94 Reds team was?
Yeah, they were good. They were good.
They were outstanding in the NL Central that year. And they go to the NLCS in 95. Of course, the Braves sweep them and go on to win their World Series. But I will go to my grave, TJ, convinced had the strike not occurred in 94, the Reds would have won the World Series that year.
I'm not going to fight you on that. I'm not going to fight you on that.
You know what? I have to believe that to get through seasons where you perform below expectations or in last place in the NL Central at the All-Star break. That's what I got to believe, TJ.
We don't have the money, dude. Don't have the money. And honestly, don't think we ever will. We just don't have the money. And, you can moneyball it and all those kinds of things, but certain teams can execute on that. Certain front offices can, and other front offices can't. And I don't know. I don't know any other way to say it. We just get outspent.
304-TALK, 304. Dave and TJ. Texter says, I shut down my X account. I'm much happier now. It was a waste of my time every day. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, there's an exercise I've been wanting to undertake, and I have taken it off my phone, by the way. It's just on my laptop, and so it's harder for me to access it, and I have to be more deliberate. But, every now and then someone will call me and say, hey, would you mind to do this for me, something that you used to do, and I'll pay you X? And I'll be like, yeah, fine, I'll do that. And I look at what I charge. I would be sick to my stomach if I did the math on the hourly rate versus the amount of screen time I have on social media. I'd probably vomit on the board right now. And part of me wants to do that exercise because I do think it's bad for me. I was having a very candid conversation. Again, all brought on by Dave Allen. Thank you, Dave. With my wife last night. And she's like, honestly, you're on social media now more that you do this job. And you took this job to be less stressed out. I think you're more stressed out than ever. And I was like, okay. Well, and it's not the radio. It's the social media component of it.
That is why I truly believe, I do not believe we as a country are as divided as we think we are.
Mm-hmm.
Because the social media sphere, Twitter sphere, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, if you spend time on that, you will leave that convinced that we hate each other. There's right, there's left, there's red, there's blue. It's got to be one or the other. And when you actually get out and interact with people, TJ, you walk around the neighborhood, you say hello to your neighbors. You don't see that. You don't see the same type of animosity, the same type of... No, I'm not saying that our politics aren't messy. They certainly are. But you don't see that same type of polarization, that same type of animosity, that same types of toxicity. At least I don't. When you get out and interact with people in actual real life. There may be disagreements, but... boy, it's a lot different when you have a disagreement face-to-face with somebody versus when you can hide behind, some fancy name and an emoji.
There's definitely a higher level of decorum. You're right, in personal interactions. And I was having a conversation last night with some folks. I can't remember if this came from Steyerwalt or someone else I was talking to, but I'm going to give Steyerwalt credit. And if I got it wrong, give me some mercy there. But they were the essence of the conversation is, it is so easy to be wrong on social media today, and it's gone beyond that. People don't even care if they're wrong. And let me try to crystallize this, not to get the TJ Meadows thing going. You saw the piece I wrote on Monday about Lindsey Graham. I probably had conservatively on social media, I would say no less than a couple of hundred. That's a low-end estimate. How come you never said anything when Trump talked about Mueller? I did. And it takes all of 20 seconds to Google and see that commentary. And I even put an editor's note in the commentary preemptively because I knew that would come. People do not care if they are factually wrong anymore as long as they can score a point, a click on social media. That's dangerous, Dave. It's dangerous.
It's the world we live in, though. Like I said, hey, limit your time. Do your shameless self-promotions. Post your cat videos, your dog videos. I do enjoy the dog videos. Cars racing, whatever the case may be. There's some fun stuff out there. You don't have to. Here's the thing. You can use it. I think you can use it, and you can skew the algorithm. You can't beat it. It's like the casinos, right? But you can win a hand of blackjack every now and again. Skew the algorithm. Get the fun stuff. Get the fun dad jokes, the comedy sketches. They're out there. There's some fun stuff out there. Do that rather than argue with people in the comments section.
Should I turn comments off when I post something? I'm thinking about just turning them off. You can do that. I can say, look, here's my commentary. You can't post a comment. See, I'm not disciplined as you are there, David. Let's just be honest.
What?
Let's just
It's
be
not
honest.
hard. I just ignore them.
I'm not as disciplined as that. And I'm wondering, I'll just start posting stuff and turn the comments off. Maybe that'd be better for me. I don't know.
You know who usually tells me about comments? Producer Jake.
Jake?
Producer Jake will usually let me know. And actually, most of the time, TJ, comments go 50-50. You're either, whenever we post something or, a clip from the show gets put up, we're either red-blooded communists or, Trump bootlickers. 50-50. So either way.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking on the fly here, which is dangerous. I've been thinking about just never posting again on my personal pages. I'll just put my stuff on the Metro News page. That's how I'll live on social media and be done with it.
Maybe we just start our own social media platform. That seems to work.
I don't know, man. I talk about jumping from one frying pan to another. My God. You want to kill me? I mean, it's just, jeez.
I'm just saying, you're the entrepreneurial spirit is alive. Let me see. Okay, let me get a couple of texts in here. Chris Warner's going to join us a couple of minutes from now. I'm happy all I do on my smartphone is text and talk, not any one of those other stuff. Hoppy never scrolled through social media during breaks. He would reply to text messages. Come on, Dave, do better. Fair point. Hey, guys, if baseball had not gone on strike, then I would still be watching today. It made me mad. There's a lot of you. I enjoy, guys, my age getting hoisted by Yellowstone bison. Brutal. Yeah. Grandpa getting lit up by the bison there in Yellowstone.
Speaking of Yellowstone, are you watching the new spinoff, Dutton Ranch? Have you caught that?
Jenna is watching it. My
good.
wife's
I like
watching it.
You should watch it. It's good. Did you like Yellowstone?
I bowed out of Yellowstone after a couple of seasons.
Okay, all right.
It got I bowed out. Let me just leave it there. I bowed.
All right.
I was not as infatuated with the series as others were. Let me leave
That's
it
fine.
there.
To each their own.
Let's see. And yet, there you are streaming today's show with a 10 to 15 second delay. The Matrix has you. It's an 8-second delay. Y'all talk more about bad social media comments than school shootings, says the texter. You say the Reds would have won the World Series if they wouldn't have gone on strike. Huggins said he would have won a national championship if his Cincinnati player hadn't got hurt. That's a lot of assuming without ever playing a minute, says the texter. Well, that's the fun thing about the 1994 season. I have no idea. The Expos could have very won that World Series. But I will always believe that was the Reds' lost year. We'll talk to Secretary of State Chris Warner. He's actually out in South Dakota. We'll talk to him about the DOJ lawsuit being dismissed and why he's out in South Dakota. We'll do that right after this. This is Talkline from the Encove Insurance Studios.
Approach your retirement with confidence. With over 150 years of combined experience, the advisors of the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group provide advice and wealth management strategies to individuals, families, small businesses, professional offices, and institutions. With the Stike team, you'll have access to an advising team with extensive resources, a client-first mindset, and a passion for helping transform the lives of those we serve. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike today and join the team that's dedicated to your success.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniels Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
304 Talk 304, our lead story over at WVMetroNews.com, at least to get the day started. The Department of Justice lawsuit that was demanding voter information, unredacted voter information, was dismissed by a federal judge. Joining us on Metro News Talkline this morning is the Secretary of State for the great state of West Virginia, Chris Warner. Chris, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you all. I've got a comment first on TJ's comment earlier. TJ, I remember two-a-day practices at George Washington High School under Coach Steve Edwards, the senior. And I still to this day cannot stand the smell of fresh-cut grass. I was a down lineman, and my nose was ground into that grass. I can't stand the smell of cut grass. So
I understand.
I'm scarred.
Secretary of State Chris Warner joining us, Metro News Talkline. So, Chris, what was the significance of yesterday's decision dismissing that lawsuit seeking the unredacted voter information here in West Virginia?
You know, state law is very clear that we can't share private voter data. That's telephone numbers, email addresses, driver's license, social security numbers. We're following the law, and the federal judge didn't buy the Department of Justice's argument that the Civil Rights Act gives the federal government carte blanche access to the data that they want. So Congress writes the laws and didn't provide for the Department of Justice access to that data, and we agree. With the Department of Justice's mission to keep the rolls clean, but hold states accountable for following federal law. But this didn't justify the way that they were trying to get the information.
This isn't an administration, Chris, that likes to quit or likes to lose. Are you concerned that this is not the last you'll hear of this issue, and perhaps with another suit, another mechanism, the ask will come back?
The DOJ may appeal, but we're confident in our interpretation of the state law. But we've got a federal midterm general election to administer, and that's where our elections division and I are going to stay focused for the next couple of months. But nothing would surprise me at this point.
Talking to West Virginia Secretary of State Chris Warner, there are certainly questions out there regarding other states and their elections. Chris, why should West Virginians have full confidence in West Virginia elections?
Oh, we run the tightest elections possible. We have 55 county clerks that just do a phenomenal job. We keep clean voter rolls. In West Virginia, over the last 9 years, we've removed more than 471,000 names from our voter rolls that should have not been there, working with our 55 county clerks. And in that same time frame, we've had 350,000 voters that have been registered or their files have been updated. So that means more than half of the state's entire voter list has been updated in the last decade. So confidence is important. Our machines are not marking machines that mark your ballots. They're not tied to the internet. And anyone that's ever worked in the polls as a poll worker sees all the checks and balances that are taking place. So we run very tight elections in West Virginia.
You always need poll workers. An election is coming up. I want to give you the chance, as we always do, make your pitch. How can people help out?
You can, first of all, go to our website, the West Virginia Secretary of State's website, or contact your county clerk. It takes over 8,500 poll workers in West Virginia. They always need more. We were up against the clock in a couple of counties like Harrison County in this last election, where those poll workers weren't filled until the last couple of days right before the election. That doesn't give proper time for training, and then things happen. And so it's really important for keeping the confidence up in our elections, and having poll workers that either apply through our office or through your local county clerk's office is the quickest way to be able to be considered for being a poll worker.
Chris, before we let you go, I know you're out in South Dakota this week. What are you doing out there?
This is a National Association of Secretaries of State meeting. West Virginia actually presents on 3 different occasions during this conference this week, which is a clear indication, quite frankly, to guys like Dave Cook, our chief legal counsel, is seen as a national expert in what we do. Also, just want to compliment, before we wrap up, J.B. McCuskey and his team of attorneys that worked with our chief legal counsel, Dave Cook, along with Michael Williams and Caleb Seckman in the Attorney General's office, for taking on the case that we just won yesterday. So they do
two
a
branches
job,
of the executive government working together. What do you got in the water over there, Chris? I mean, come on.
Hey, it's easy to work with state agencies, and the Attorney General's office is one that it's a pleasure to work with them.
Secretary of State Chris Warner. Chris, we appreciate you taking some time with us today. Safe travels, and we'll check in real soon.
Thank you all.
Absolutely. Take a break. Wrap things up for a Tuesday. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now, you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
For over 20 years, Dan Cabot Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cabot Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then before I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discovered tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
Sportsline on Metro News Television.
One of the ladies asked me in the forum if I know how to drive in the snow. I told her, oh yeah, I've spent 5 years in Elkins.
See, that's one of those things. I mean, you're moving. This is basically coming back to Florida here when you get to Fairmont. I mean, this is easy.
It's going to be a breeze.
Some text, 304 Talk 304 before we call it a day. Need to remind you that jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $498 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $637 million, so go ahead, play today. Texter says Senator Capito does not speak for a large segment of West Virginians who have a drop of common sense. Trump picked Graham's sister, and she sees nothing wrong with that. The fact that this person has zero experience and has been picked to fill a powerful Senate seat does not bother Mrs. Capito at all, as long as her stock portfolio is skyrocketing. Common sense is out the window.
What qualifications did she not meet in the Constitution?
And look, this is an interim seat. This happens all the time. Who was it? Cart Goodwin, right?
Yep, Cart Goodwin.
What experience did he have when Senator Byrd passed away to be a senator? All right. Look, it's an interim seat. There will be a primary election in South Carolina in August. There will be a general election in November. I'm not going to get too amped up about it.
No.
Texter says, TJ may not like my text, but at least I can form cohesive sentences.
There you go.
Fair enough. Talk radio hosts struggle with unpopularity on social media. Film at 11.
Touché.
Congratulations. You just announced that you really don't care what we think. You're putting yourself in a bubble by cutting yourself off from the public, says the texter.
I don't think that's what we said. Did we? Did we say that? I don't think we said that.
I didn't think so, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll check the comment section later. Texter says, without social media, you wouldn't have this. That's an old school. It is a meme, a rough meme of me depicted as a hockey mom. And there's a story behind that, but we don't have time today. I look good as a blonde, though. Yeah. Tooth knocked out in the front, too, for hockey.
I thought that somehow might have been evidence about what Larry Fitzgerald was saying about us not having any dentists, but I guess I'm off on that.
Texter says, Dave, sir, you are correct. The Reds would have won the 1994 World Series. Not only did the strike set back baseball, it killed the Reds. Only 3 first-place finishes and 5-14 playoff record in the last 32 years have never been the same. Texter says, newsflash for Secretary Warner, no voting machines in America are tied to the internet, says the texter. Follow the news of the day over at the website, wvmetronews.com. Metro News Midday coming up next on many of these same Metro News radio stations. Tomorrow, I believe we have confirmed the Jenny McCardle from Helsing is going to join us, the company that announced earlier this week that it's going to invest $50 million over in Berkeley County to build, do you call them combat drones? I call them combat drones. But it's pretty cool technology. We'll talk to her on the program tomorrow. Who knows what else we might dive into? Maybe the comments section. Again, 304-TALK, 304, the text line, 800-765, the phone number. We'll talk to you tomorrow. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.